Have you ever felt a presence when you were completely alone? That unmistakable, chilling sensation that something is watching you, waiting for you? Maybe it's a flicker of movement in the corner of your eye, or a sound you can't quite place. Tonight, we bring you a story that might make you think twice before entering an abandoned house. A story that will remind you that some doors are best left unopened. It was a dark and stormy evening, the kind where the rain seems to want to wash the world away. For Jake and his friends, Liam, Mia, and Sarah, it was the perfect night for an adventure. Their target was the old Whitmore Mansion, a decrepit structure looming at the edge of town, shrouded in fog and local legend. The mansion had been abandoned for over 50 years, its windows like vacant eyes staring out into the darkness. Stories were whispered about the family who once lived there, about tragedies and sorrows that had seeped into the very walls of the house. Most people stayed away, but for Jake and his friends, the allure of the forbidden was too strong to resist. Curiosity, that powerful, reckless force, got the better of them. They parked their car a short distance away, the gravel crunching under the tires. As they approached the rusted iron gates, a flash of lightning illuminated the mansion's jagged silhouette against the stormy sky, making it look like a monstrous beast waiting to devour them. The gate groaned in protest as Jake pushed it open, the sound like a low moan from the past. They made their way up the overgrown path, their footsteps muffled by the wet leaves and pounding rain. The air grew colder, heavier, the closer they got to the imposing front door. Another crack of thunder echoed overhead as Jake reached out and turned the tarnished brass handle. The door swung inward with a long, drawn-out creak, revealing a cavern of darkness within. They hesitated for a moment, a shared look of excitement and fear passing between them. Then, one by one, they stepped inside. The heavy oak door groaned as it swung shut behind them, the click of the latch sounding unnervingly final. They were trapped. Inside, the air was stale and thick with the smell of dust and decay. It was colder than outside, a damp, penetrating chill that went straight to the bone. Their flashlights cut sharp beams through the oppressive darkness, revealing a grand but ruined foyer. Peeling wallpaper hung from the walls like sunburnt skin, and furniture lay shrouded in white cloths resembling ghostly figures in the gloom. Cobwebs, thick as cotton, draped from the ornate chandelier and across every corner. Each step they took on the warped wooden floorboards produced a symphony of groans and creaks, as if the house itself was protesting their intrusion. They moved cautiously, their senses on high alert. Us. Suddenly, a soft, ethereal whisper seemed to glide down from the grand staircase before them. It was a single, chilling phrase, barely audible over the storm outside. Leave. Now. The sound sent shivers down their spines. Sarah grabbed Jake's arm, her eyes wide with terror. Did you hear that? What? Jake? I want to go. This was a bad idea. Liam and Mia huddled closer, their bravado from moments before completely gone. But Jake, ever the leader, was more intrigued than frightened. It's just the wind, he said, his voice trying for a confidence he didn't feel. Don't worry. Ignoring their pleas, he turned his flashlight toward the shadowy staircase and began to move toward it, drawn by an unseen force. The others, too scared to be left alone, reluctantly followed him into the heart of the mansion's darkness. The further they ascended, the heavier the air became, pressing in on them, making it difficult to breathe. The temperature dropped even more, and they could see their own breath misting in the flashlight beams. The upstairs hallway was a long, narrow corridor lined with closed doors, each one promising more secrets and more terror. Shadows danced and writhed in the corners of their vision, twisting into unsettling shapes that seemed to follow their movements. Their flashlights flickered, casting the hallway in strobing bursts of light and darkness. It felt as though the house was alive, its malevolent energy pulsing around them. Then, they saw her. At the far end of the hallway, a figure slowly materialized from the gloom. It was a young girl, no older than 10, wearing a tattered white dress. Her skin was unnaturally pale, her hair long and dark, and her eyes were hollow, empty voids of blackness. She just stood there, watching them, an expression of profound sadness on her face. For a moment, no one moved, no one breathed. The silence was absolute. Then, with a deafening bang that made them all scream, the door at the end of the hallway slammed shut behind her. The sound echoed like a gunshot through the house. The ghostly girl opened her mouth, and a whisper, colder than a winter wind, filled the corridor. "You shouldn't be here." Panic took over. They turned and ran, scrambling back the way they came. But the hallway seemed to stretch on forever. The staircase they had just climbed now impossibly far away. The doors along the corridor began to rattle violently in their frames. Whispers swirled around them, calling their names, hissing from the shadows. Sarah swore she felt an icy hand brush against her neck. Liam stumbled, looking back to see ghostly figures reflected in the cracked mirrors on the wall. Their faces contorted in silent screams. The air grew thick with the sound of their own frantic heartbeats, a frantic drumbeat counting down their final moments. The house was playing with them, a cat with its terrified mice, and the maze of its dark halls seemed endless. Just when they thought all hope was lost, after what felt like an eternity of running through the twisting, changing corridors, Jake saw it. A faint, pale light filtering through a grimy window at the far end of a side passage. "There," he yelled, his voice hoarse. "That way." It was their only chance. With their last reserves of strength, they sprinted toward the sliver of hope, their lungs burning. They burst through a rotting door and found themselves in a small, forgotten pantry. Jake threw his shoulder against the boarded-up window. The old wood splintered and broke, and they scrambled through the opening, tumbling out onto the wet, muddy ground. Outside, the rain was still pouring down, but it felt cleansing, washing away the suffocating terror of the house. They didn't look back. They just ran, not stopping until they reached their car and sped away, leaving the Whitmore mansion to its lonely vigil in the storm. From that day on, none of them ever spoke of what happened. They tried to forget the hollow-eyed girl and the whispers in the dark. But sometimes on windy nights, when Jake is alone, he hears it. A faint whisper carried on the breeze, a chilling reminder that some places are steeped in sorrow and are better left alone. Thanks for watching our story. If you enjoyed it, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more tales from the shadows. Stay safe out there.